Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're ripping open the blueprints of Clayton Brady's epic, issue number 2, New Moon. We are going to focus heavily right on those beginning elements that paint the structural foundation of the book and its main thematic focus. We'll look at exactly how the opening chapters expertly construct this massive, intricate sci-fi universe, the shifting perspectives, and the core themes giving this epic its solid footing. Let's get right into it.
Think about it. How do you build a universe, shatter its peace, and kick off a galactic war, all in just a handful of chapters? It's literally the ultimate challenge for any world builder. To answer this, we've got to look closely at the author's structural devices. We're going to see exactly how the narrative lays down a deep, ancient mythological foundation, and then bam, immediately shatters the illusion of present-day peace using a highly effective dual-perspective inciting incident.
So, here is our structural roadmap for today. We're looking at the foundations of the glow, the inciting cosmic incident, the splintered narrative structure, politics versus the streets, the main thematic focus, and finally, how the stage is set.
All right, Part 1, Foundations of the Glow. Now, this story doesn't start in some boring boardroom. No, it starts in the prologue, which acts as this massive mythological anchor set in the cracked, glowing Badlands right outside Jornas prison. By starting here, with these ancient entities, the author gives the ensuing galactic politics a sense of heavy, inescapable weight. You're not just watching a political spat, you are watching an ancient cosmic cycle spinning back up.
So picture this. During a totally brutal, wordless fight with our protagonist, the Protector, this lethal entity named Sarah Serpent just drops some massive lore right on our heads. She reveals that centuries ago, the great Eli gave away his essence. Then, a praying people known as the Cull used rituals to turn this pure energy into, of all things, mere entertainment. Over time, they clone themselves, declare themselves deities, and literally build entirely new artificial timelines and syndicates. It instantly tells us that the magic system of this universe is tied to a super sinister history.
And crucially, during that fight, Sarah Serpent explicitly states the glow was never meant to be a drug. This is a huge deal. It establishes the universe's core resource, the glow, as something ancient and pure that has been completely corrupted by modern syndicates like the Crystal Kings, who are just pushing a false narrative. It's a brilliant way to show us that the modern conflicts we're about to witness are actually built on top of stolen, corrupted ancient power.
Moving into Section 2, the inciting cosmic incident. Fast forward 7 years from that prologue right into Chapter 1. Here, the author introduces a pivot that completely shatters the fragile peace. Up until this exact moment, Delilah Dawn's Court of Courts had actually managed to establish order in the Glover system. But peace in a story like this, it's basically just thin glass waiting to be smashed.
And that inciting incident hits like an absolute freight train. This massive celestial body known as Urk's moon suddenly just materializes in the sky, out of nowhere. Syndicate Kingpin King Julius hijacks a desperate transmission from a covert operative named Snake and broadcasts this massive threat directly to our heroes. He says, "My moon is here now. My rules apply. The invitation is open." He directly threatens the Protector, and even worse, brazenly challenges his pregnant wife Anya on a live galactic feed. Talk about raising the stakes.
Because remember, before this moon shows up, life was actually pretty good. Anya's pregnant, safely running a real-time crime app from a high-tech command deck called The Helm. The Protector? He's happily transitioning into this family man leadership role. Delilah has built a totally legitimate judicial system. They genuinely thought they had finally earned peace in the Glover system. But the cosmic arrival of Julius's moon violently clashes against this polished institutional world with a looming chaotic threat that they just can't ignore.
Which brings us to Section 3, a splintered narrative structure. After this massive catalyst drops, the author doesn't just stick to a single point of view. Instead, the book structurally divides its focus. It forces us as readers to experience the conflict through two wildly different aesthetics and stress levels at the exact same time. It's brilliant. On one side, you have Harold's Den at the helm. Think low blue light, sterile politics, holographic star charts, very high-level strategic deployments. But then, almost immediately, the author yanks us all the way down to the underground city of Erica on Urk's moon, where it literally smells like wet clay and old blood. Down there, we find Snake, Kea, and a badly wounded Sella trapped in a crude mud apartment. They're cornered by syndicate landlords and being actively hunted by a feral gladiator known as the Wild Woman. The structural whiplash here is totally intentional, and wow, is it effective. Snake's raw dialogue perfectly captures this gritty, boots-on-the-ground reality.
He says, if I don't get a clean extraction or a miracle in the next few hours, I'm lighting this place up, you hear me? I will go loud. It is so visceral. It sets up this intense ticking clock that forces the high-level politicians who are sitting comfortably up in their command deck into immediate, desperate action. The street level is absolutely dictating the pace of the political level. And that perfectly tees up Section 4, Politics versus the Streets. Throughout these early chapters, we are constantly ping-ponging between these overarching political maneuvers in gleaming courtrooms and the brutal skirmishes down in the mud.
While the Court of Courts is completely tied up debating legalities, broadcasting bounties, and dealing with this shady, syndicate-tied law firm called the Velvet Vixens, the physical reality of the war is already kicking off. The Protector? Yeah, he doesn't wait for the courts. He fast-tracks a rookie named Oz, and they dive straight into the literal mud of Erica. They are physically throwing punches, fighting the wild woman Mythonia just to rescue Snake's team. The pacing here is incredible because it ensures we never lose sight of the physical cost of all these high-level political games.
This leads us directly to Section 5, the main thematic focus. Every single structural choice we've discussed so far, the ancient lore, the sudden cosmic invasion, the split narrative, all of it serves to highlight one central tension established in these opening chapters.
And that tension is the battle between an earned peace and the intoxicating pull of war. The Protector desperately wants to maintain his hard-earned peace, right? He wants to protect his pregnant wife Anya, raise their family, and just let the law handle things for once. But the pull of chaos is relentless. Julius literally parks a moon in his sky just to goad him into the glow games. And Mythonia, the wild woman, pulls a massive courtroom stunt on live galactic television, falsely claiming she and the Protector have a secret baby. All of this is just to drag the champion back to his warrior roots. The universe simply refuses to let the guy rest.
The Protector sums up his internal conflict so perfectly when he tells Snake, I stayed for my wife, for my family. You know that someone had to keep the home front from burning. He is fighting his own nature to be a good man. Understanding this thematic tension is absolutely crucial. Why? Because it explains his actions later in the book. When he ultimately surrenders and allows himself to be put in chains by Queen Glenda, it isn't out of weakness. No way. It's a highly calculated, selfless move to buy time for his team and protect his family from an all-out galactic war. Finally, Section 6. The stage is set. The foundation has been poured, the narrative structure is standing tall, the themes are crystal clear, and all the players are rapidly moving into position on Urk's moon. The author has built the sandbox. Now it's time to watch the toys collide. And man, do they collide. Things reach an absolute boiling point. The team secures a temporary pardon for a criminal named Ara, using her to literally mind control Queen Glenda right in the middle of a massive festival. Meanwhile, Anya is totally fed up with watching from the sidelines, so she teleports directly to the battlefield alongside a mysterious ally named Vika. And the Protector, working perfectly in sync with his team, uses a hologram decoy to orchestrate this massive EMP escape from the palace garage. Every single structural element we just analyzed is now firing on all cylinders at the exact same time.
So as the ancient past literally invades their sky in the form of Eric's moon, bringing the brutal glow games right to their doorstep, we have to ask ourselves, can these heroes actually maintain their hard-won peace? Or is the universe just doomed to repeat the violent rituals of the Call? You've seen the blueprints, you know the foundation, now it's time to dive into the rest of the epic to find out what happens next. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the architecture of the stories you love.